They told me to grow up and get a job. Now they want to work for me. I still remember the way Aunt Janice laughed when I told her I wanted to be a game designer. Not just laughed, she snorted. As if I'd said I wanted to be a fairy princess or a full-time cloud watcher. Iris? Seriously? Grow up and get a real job, she said, sipping from her diet soda like she was some wise oracle of career advice. Everyone nodded. My uncle, my cousins, my own mother. I was 19, broke, and stubborn as hell. They had stable jobs, accountants, dental assistants, middle managers, the holy trinity of mediocre success. I had a beat-up laptop, a dream, and absolutely no plan B. For years I was the family joke, the artsy disappointment, the one who wasted her time online. Every holiday, it was the same routine. So, Iris, Cousin Mason would ask between bites of dry turkey, still making those little games? Or did you finally get tired of being unemployed? Cue the laughter. Cue the judgmental stares. Cue me pretending I wasn't dying inside. But here's the thing. I didn't quit. I worked. I taught myself to code. I learned design from YouTube, stole hours of sleep, skipped parties, skipped meals. I joined freelancer sites, got ripped off by clients, got ghosted, underpaid, mocked. I built trashy mobile games for pennies, then better ones, then viral ones. And then I hit gold. It was a rainy Tuesday when the numbers spiked. I refreshed the dashboard a dozen times, thought it was a glitch. It wasn't. The game, a weird dark survival simulator with sarcastic commentary and talking raccoons, blew up overnight. Within 48 hours, it was trending in 3 countries. By the end of the month, I had 200K downloads. 3 months in, I got a licensing deal. Year 1, I made $500,000. Guess who didn't think it was a joke anymore? But I didn't flaunt it. Not at first. I moved to a quiet city, bought a modest house, started my own studio. Small team, low overhead, high returns. I hired fellow misfits, people who'd also been told to get real jobs. People with passion, grit, and zero patience for corporate BS. We thrived. Meanwhile, my family carried on with their lives. They still thought I was doing some online thing. They never asked, never cared, until the Facebook post. It was innocent. Well, sort of. A picture of me at an indie game awards ceremony. Red carpet, big smile, holding a crystal trophy. Caption, from get a real job to game of the year. Thanks for the motivation. It went viral. Like wildfire viral. And suddenly, my family remembered I existed. The phone calls started within hours. My mom. Iris, honey, I didn't know you were doing so well. We should celebrate. Aunt Janice. Oh wow, I always said you were talented. So proud of you, sweetie. Mason. He sent a LinkedIn request. Said he was exploring new opportunities. It was surreal. These were the same people who made me feel worthless for years, who told me I was lazy, irresponsible, unrealistic. Now they were interested, and just when I thought it couldn't get weirder. I got a visit. It was the Saturday before Christmas. Snow falling, fireplace on. I was curled up with a controller testing a new level. Doorbell rings. I open the door, and there they are. Janice, Mason, my mother, all holding gifts and awkward smiles. I blinked. Is this an intervention or a caroling group? Janice laughed like we were best friends. No, honey, we just thought we'd stop by. You know, since you're back in town and all. I wasn't. I'd never lived in that town. But they saw my house on Zillow. Yeah, they stalked me and decided to reconnect. I let them in because I wanted to see what they were really here for. They made small talk, admired the decor, commented on how mature I'd become. Then it came. Mason cleared his throat. So, I heard you might be expanding your studio. I didn't respond. Janice jumped in. Mason's thinking of a career change. He's great with numbers. He could help with the business side of things. My mother added, And you know your cousin Lindsay just got her degree in marketing. She's very creative, always loved video games. I sipped my coffee, let the silence stretch, watched them squirm, then I smiled. I'll think about it. They beamed, as if I'd just given them golden tickets. But inside? Oh, inside I was already planning the grand finale. See? They didn't know what I knew. They didn't know I'd already seen Mason's resume. He sent it to my assistant. He hadn't worked in months, fired for incompetence. Lindsay? Her degree was an online certificate in digital branding from a website that looked like it was built in 2004. I let them believe they had a chance. Because vengeance, when cooked slow, tastes delicious. They wanted a job? Oh, they were going to get something. Just not what they expected. After they left, still basking in the glow of their imaginary new jobs, I poured myself another coffee and opened my laptop. It was time. Time to build the perfect little trap. See? The old me would have ignored them. Let them crawl back into their beige cubicles and continue their lives full of microwaved lunches and passive-aggressive emails. But the new me? The me they helped shape with every jab, every eye roll, every holiday roast? She had something else in mind. First, I created the company. Not a real one, obviously. A fake offshoot of my studio. Impressive name, glossy logo, vague mission statement full of empty buzzwords. Next, I bought a domain. Designed a slick website in a few hours. Pages with fake staff bios, fake testimonials, fake partners, all beautifully professional. Then, I crafted the roles. Job descriptions tailored to their inflated egos. Executive strategy liaison for Mason. Creative branding director for Lindsay. And, just for kicks, senior business operations. Consultant for Janice. I made the roles sound important. Powerful. Essential. I knew what they wanted. Status. So I made sure each fake job screamed it. Then came the interview process. I emailed them each congratulatory invitations to apply, attached long application forms, pointless aptitude tests, video response requests, corporate red tape at its finest. They did it all. Mason even sent a PowerPoint about innovating game monetization. He spelled monetization wrong. Twice. Lindsay's submission was a vision board with emojis. Janice sent a 2-page essay about streamlining fiscal synergy, whatever that means. I set up Zoom interviews using a fake HR persona. Vanessa. Vanessa wore glasses, had a serious voice, and asked the kind of questions that made them sweat. Tell me about a time you took initiative in a high-pressure environment. Mason said he once suggested switching printer brands. Lindsay said she helped her friend pick fonts for a wedding invitation. Janice said she reorganized a snack cabinet at work. Vanessa was thrilled, said they were exactly what the company needed. They were hooked. Then I scheduled their onboarding, in person, at my office. A real office, by the way. Sleek, modern, minimalist, glass walls, open concept, exposed brick, the works. I told my actual team everything. They were delighted to help. We created fake staff badges, custom desks with their names, even fake employee handbooks filled with jargon. And then, the day came. It was like watching a bad sitcom in high definition. They showed up early. Dressed, like they were headed to a board meeting in 1998. Mason in an ill-fitting suit. Lindsay in a power blazer 2 sizes too big. Janice in something that looked like it belonged to a TV lawyer. I greeted them in the lobby. "Welcome to Level Up Studios' corporate division," I said with a straight face. They grinned. Drank it all in. Totally clueless. I led them upstairs, handed out their badges, gave them a fake orientation packet. Mason kept asking where his corner office was. Lindsay wanted to know if she could lead the social media team. Janice asked if she could expense a chair upgrade. I said yes to everything, because why not? We gave them little assignments. Useless, busy work. Make a list of potential slogans. Research industry buzzwords. Rewrite a mission statement they didn't understand. They took it seriously. So seriously. Every time they got up to use the bathroom, my team and I huddled in the corner trying not to cry from laughter. By lunchtime, I was ready. "Hey guys," I said, poking my head into their fake office. They looked up, eager, like, Golden retrievers waiting for a treat. Quick meeting in the main room. Big update. They followed me in, took their seats around the table. Mason even straightened his tie. I could feel the anticipation buzzing off them. I took a breath, and then I said it. So, I have to confess something. They froze. Mason laughed, nervously. Oh, God. Are we getting fired on the first day? I smiled. No, you're not getting fired. Because you were never hired. Silence. I kept going. This isn't a real company. These aren't real jobs. That office you've been sitting in, we created it for this exact moment. Lindsay blinked. What are you talking about? I leaned back. I'm talking about payback. More silence. Janice opened her mouth, closed it. I stood. For years, you mocked me, laughed at me, told me to grow up, get a real job, stop being lazy. I sat at family dinners while you tore my dreams apart between bites of mashed potatoes. I walked to the whiteboard and flipped it. On the back, I'd printed screenshots of old texts, quotes, emails. Janice calling me a freeloader, Mason saying I'd end up back at home, Lindsay laughing at one of my early game trailers on Instagram. I turned back to them. And now that I've made something of myself, you think you can ride the wave? Just waltz in here, slap your names on a title and collect a paycheck? Their faces were blank, then red, then pale. I smiled. This was never a job offer. It was a reminder of who you are and who I became, despite you. Janice finally found her voice. You humiliated us. No, I said calmly. You did that. I just gave you the mirror. They stormed out. No dramatic screaming, just stiff bodies and clenched jaws. It was glorious. Later that day, I sent them each a thank you email, included photos of their first day at Level Up Corporate. Captioned them, best interns ever, 10-10, would prank again. Mason blocked me. Lindsay deleted all her social media. Janice called my mom and cried. Mom called me. You went too far, Iris. I said, did I? There was a long pause. Then she whispered, no, I guess you didn't. A few days after the incident, I figured the show was over. Wrong. Because apparently, humiliating 3 overinflated cousins in a fake company isn't something they're willing to let go of quietly. First came the texts. Mason. This was seriously low. Family doesn't do this to family. Oh, you mean like calling me a parasite at Grandma's birthday dinner? Lindsay followed up with, you made us look like fools. What did you even gain from this? Oh, Lindsay, sweet Lindsay. I gained peace. And laughter. And, let's be honest, a little justice. Janice was more dramatic. I'm considering legal action, emotional damage. I had a panic attack in my Honda. I didn't respond to any of them. Not one word. Because at that point, something wild was happening. My assistant Emma had filmed their whole first day. With their consent, of course, under the guise of internal documentation. And because I'm not a total monster, I blurred their faces. But their voices, their behavior, their words, fully intact. I posted a shortened, edited version of the whole thing. Title: They told me to grow up and get a job. So I made a fake company and hired them. It went viral overnight. The internet devoured it. People called me a legend, a petty queen, a cinematic villain. One comment said, "This is the kind of petty I aspire to." 13+10 execution. Another read, "Your cousins had it coming. This is art, literal art. I went from 12K followers to 1.2 million in 3 days. Influencers reposted it. Podcasters broke it down like it was a war strategy. Even a business coach stitched the video and said, 'This is why you never underestimate the quiet cousin with a MacBook.' But the real surprise came 3 days later. I got an email. Subject line: We'd love to partner with you, Netflix Originals. At first I thought it was spam, but no. They wanted to option my story for a limited comedy drama series. Sort of like The Dropout, but with more glitter and family dysfunction. The producer said, and I quote, "You're like a millennial Count of Monte Cristo with Wi-Fi and Canva Pro. I signed the deal. My face? On a screen? The cousins who told me I was wasting my life. Now watching me from their couches while I sign contracts in soft lighting with an oat milk latte in hand? Chef's kiss. But here's the kicker. The real plot. Twist. About a week after the Netflix news broke, I got another email. From Lindsay. Subject: Hey, can we talk? Against my better judgment, I opened it. She wrote, Hey Iris, I know things got a little messy, but I just wanted to say I'm proud of you. You've built something incredible and, well, if there's ever room on your team, I'd love to contribute. Contribute, as in, work for me. Mason followed a few hours later with a LinkedIn request and a message. Saw the news. No hard feelings. Let me know if you're hiring. And Janice DM'd me a reel of herself talking about navigating toxic workplaces and tagged my company with the hashtag #InBossEnergy. I sat there, rereading each message. I could have ignored them, blocked them, laughed and moved on. But no, I had one more chapter to write. So I invited them to coffee. Neutral ground, a cute little cafe with vintage chairs and ironic wallpaper. They arrived looking sheepish, like kids caught stealing from the cookie jar. I smiled and waved. They sat, ordered lattes, fidgeted. Then I said, So, you want to work for me? They nodded in sync, like synchronized swimmers in a pool of desperation. Lindsay spoke first. You're clearly doing something amazing, Iris, and we misjudged you. We didn't see your potential. Mason chimed in. You've always been smart. We just didn't get it back then. Janice added, We'd love a chance to be part of your vision. Took a slow sip of my drink. Then I smiled. Great. I actually have some openings. They lit up. But, I continued, they're entry level. And unpaid. For the first 6 months. Their faces dropped. I believe in starting from the bottom, I added sweetly. You said that once, remember? That I needed to earn my place. Pull myself up. Grind. Silence. Think of it as character building, I said. Very humbling. Very real job energy. Mason turned red. Lindsay stared into her cup. Janice looked like she might spontaneously combust. They declined, obviously. Left in silence. Again. But this time I took a selfie. Posted it with the caption. When they told you to grow up and get a job, so you did. And now they're asking if you're hiring. The comments exploded. The post trended. Again. I got interview requests from Good Morning America and a TEDx organizer. Apparently, petty revenge is very marketable. Today, my studio is thriving. I have employees, real ones, talented ones, people who believed in me before the views, the contracts, the viral posts. I still get emails from strangers asking for advice. I always reply, grow up, get a job, or build one so good your enemies apply. And my cousins? They're back at their real jobs, cubicles, managers, office drama. Mason sells software no one understands. Lindsay writes blog posts for a pet food company. Janice is still reorganizing snacks from what I hear. They don't talk to me anymore. Not even at family dinners. But that's fine. Because when they told me to grow up and get a job, I did something better. I built a kingdom. And then I made them kneel at the gates.